where he refers to himself as a helpless old fart instead of old man. And another where he says, Kevin, we're going home.
Yeah.
And he had lived a lot more than that, which I told him didn't work.
Right.
But
yeah, sometimes he would
that
just, in the moment, he'll come up with something else.
But that was the most liberty any of the cast took.
But he was really wanting to do this with a shaved head. Well, he did it with a bald cap, which I wasn't sure was going to look right. So we did a test. And
Nicotero could do it.
Lighting, it's real hard to pull that off. Even Nicotero was afraid. But with this kind of lighting, you can kind of get away with it more. But it was much more striking. And it was much more faithful to the book. And again, he has the coolest light blue eyes that I ended up going and turning him a little bit green there.
Yeah.
But I just thought we got to make him a character and really have him stand out.
I mean, what I also loved, it was another case where I was working with Legend, and I would come over and give, just do an adjustment and come in very nervous because what do I know? But I came over and just said, when he refers to your Goldie, I said, say with disgust. You're talking about a hooker, and he just knew it was nuanced, but it got just across the right punch.
Look at this stuff on Mickey here. You would never know these guys were not sitting in a room together when
Never
they did
know.
this scene.
Never know.
We shot Mickey in March and we shot Rutger in November. And I showed Rutger Mickey's footage, and but Mickey was just there listening to me read off camera. And he was giving me all this great reaction. I remember we looked at that and go, wow, we've got so much to work with Mickey there.
Yeah.
He just delivered so much off camera. Again, he's not talking, it's all silent. But you can just see so much going on. And he's through that makeup, you're seeing so much going on in his head.
Well, what also that Mickey's got that amazes me is that, sure, he scares the crap out of everybody in that bathroom scene with Carla with his sheer vehemence. But he gets very businesslike in his carnage, and that's when he's really the most terrifying.
Kind of, one of the things I was concerned with is you didn't really, even in the book, you don't really start laughing with Marv till about here. you realize you're in on what Marv is all about, and I thought that would be too late for the movie. So I did go back and I did move a lot of the voiceover stuff around, sort of shuffled some things around to try to bring some of that, not humor, but just sort of getting on Marv's side. It's humor, but it's also understanding him a little better. Earlier on, I think that's what helped win people over to his side. Because this was the toughest one we had in editing, was figuring out. Remember, Marv seemed to be the one that just was the hardest to get to work, and it ended up being the one that worked the best. Once we kind of figured all that stuff out. And Mickey here,
Mickey's amazing.
They try to make him look ugly, but look, it looks like Brando right here.
Yeah.
Look at this face here when he's smiling. He's like better looking than
I think Brando's an apt comparison with Mickey in a lot of ways.
It's really funny.
This bit. Let's look.
This stuff these are added shots, but again, this is one right out of your book. I mean, most of these shots are out of the book.
I'm gonna kill my mom.
Except for a few choice close-ups. Usually, mostly everything is from your book. Is this pullback shot on in there in court with the fists in the air? I mean, you just replicated the book with a screaming judge and
I love the 40s feel of this. I love the raised fists and all that.
And this very Frankenstein-looking background. Here's the idea. This is one of the reasons I mentioned, just because in this shot, because we didn't shoot it with this intention, I didn't think of this till later, was that as she walks forward, because of the lighting I had going on there, she could go into shadow and then emerge in black and white out of into this light and be black and white, and you realize that he's thinking as Goldie. So as much as you can get in the point of view of the character, and that's what's great about voiceover and about your books, is that the voiceover puts you in his mindset.
Again, look at how much he's giving you with that look.
It's crazy.
That's the $1 billion face.
That look right there, Mickey's great too.
Oh yeah, he's amazing.
He was just so into it.
I this single moment too. I find it corny, but I find it genuinely.
About your books is that each one of them is a love story.
Absolutely.
And I thought, what a great way to do a love story. You don't have to pussy out and make a love story. You can do a love story like this. This is the kind of love story I wanted. Here, when you shaved him and then put that helmet on, it kind of looked a little like Patton.
Yeah, right.
But
I remember one time Mickey was saying, because it was early in the shoot, and Mickey needed some sense of what he was supposed to be doing. And so I went and got a T-shirt that had one of my covers on it.
Yeah, totally.
And he just looked at it, he went, thanks, Frank. And he didn't need any help after that.
He's nailing that image you drew.
Yeah.
And you realize that drawings are so powerful, like visual medium. froze, and they're like, well, what the
Oh,
fuck are we
you
going to
know,
be looking
you
at?
know,
And they see your books, and they go, I see it, and now I read it and
Yeah.
understand it, and it's much more powerful.
I
that
mean,
way.
yeah, I mean, let's be plain. Screenplays suck.
They suck.
They're the worst. They're these stale, lifeless things that don't really tell you what's going to happen when you get your fingernails dirty in a movie. And we did have the advantage that I'd done all these years of drawings, and we had them all up. Everybody had the books.
Everybody had the books. But also what I did was I did all the voices for the actors and cut together an animatic using just your drawings. And we could tell where we needed to add shots or add moments, but also you could just see how powerful visually storytelling it was. I mean,
Here's Brittany.
this is why I built the set, was for Brittany. There's a 2-wall set there, and when she came and did a rehearsal for us, she came in and auditioned. She actually came in the room and auditioned, which she didn't have to do, but she wanted to show you what she could do. She blew us away. And I said, oh, she's going to be walking around a lot now. That's going to be a lot of extra work for my green screen guys. Why don't I just build a 2-wall set and then let her just roll?
But the thing is,
And
also,
she's
that
all over that
also
set.
this particular set gave this particular scene a wonderful kind of honeymooners tone.
Right.
And most people don't remember the Honeymooners was an extraordinarily bleak show, and this feels like it. And if you look at her performance, she, like Carla, completely nails the genre in a way that doesn't even try to owe anything to modern times.
She's another one who really loved this genre and could not wait to come do something like this. And then
there's
here's
Clive.
our Clive.
My man.
Remember, we had a couple of different choices for this character. None of them were available, and we're almost getting ready to shoot. We shot so quick. It was like, who are we going to get to play Dwight? Because you draw that character with so much, I guess you can just call it character in his face. I mean, you can't get these pretty boy actors they have today. You got to get somebody who looks like they got some life to them.
No, we need a man.
And I've always wanted to work with him. And just off his BMI commercials I showed you, that's all I could get at that moment.
You actually showed me one, and I said, we got him.
You said, well,
You know,
you said,
that's him.
well, if you think, but then you were so onto my casting.
Yeah.
Well, if you think that's the guy, let's just get him.
But also,
because I trust
there
you
was,
now.
there was one shot that
I showed you this one shot where
the guy he's up against blows his brains out, and Clive simply, he doesn't look sick or anything. He just looks away rather annoyed, like he's seen it before a few dozen times.
Anyway, that's Dwight.
Yep.
And he came in and he loved doing this, and
It
was just great. I saw him at an Academy Award party, and he had this long hair. He was growing for another movie, and I thought, oh my God, Jackie boy. I said, don't cut your hair. Whatever you do, I want to show you this project we're going to do. And now, he wanted the chin piece. He wanted the nose piece. People wanted to look more like the books.
It almost became a competition or something. It became like we were becoming a cult.
It really just, this is an opportunity for actors to just really get away from themselves and play a character. And that was so great about your books. And I didn't have any worry about casting. I mean, early on when I told you some of the actors we could get, you mentioned, well, we don't have to get big stars for everything because that might take away from it. And I mentioned that, well, a lot of reasons why they're big stars is because they're such great actors.
They're really good.
And you don't have to worry about them getting, being spot the star because you have such great characters in this book, so defined characters that you're going to now look at this and not see Benicio, you're going to see Jackie Boy.
See, I've also got as a first-time director, I was at first feeling very threatened that these rather amazing actors would be. It would make it very difficult for me to do my job. I learned otherwise. They make it easier.
That was an experience you had on, I think, RoboCop 2, is that people were just making up their own lines, and that was one of your big worries early on. It's like, well, what happens when we get these big stars? Are they going to just start demanding all these changes? And I said, no, we're not going to allow that. If you let that start happening, it's a train, you can't stop it. From the beginning of you saying, we're going to stay so faithful to the books that I'm replicating the shots, we're going to say the dialogue as written, and if it's not working, you just got to give it a little spin. We're not going to start rewriting the dialogue. We're not going to start changing things. It'll work if it's done correctly. And people embraced that. People really embraced that, and nobody wanted to change it. And as you said, people like Bruce, and they wanted to make it even more faithful to the book by keeping every word in, because they, why fuck around?
I remember at one point Clive Owen came over to me, and he said, words you don't want to have in this movie, aren't there? And I said, yeah. I said, the material itself is so intense that I don't want to have a bunch of shits and fucks flying all over a movie. It just wouldn't work. And then this is where one of the many times where I realized how perceptive and intelligent actors are. He went, "You're quite a Chandler fan, aren't you?" And I said, "Yeah, and you're playing a modern version of Marlowe." And he said, "I thought so."
I love this. Clive, when you first saw this movie, all put together, he said, "No one told me Mickey was that fucking powerful in this movie. He's like Greenwich Village good, Pope of Greenwich Village." I was afraid to even follow him after that. But as soon as he saw this scene of himself, he went, "Okay," he felt a little better.
And the
wonderful,
wonderful touch he has here was when he says you didn't flush, he goes soft on the word flush. That's a piece of artistry, I think.
That was one of the things is, as the editor, I'm already watching these going, I know which take I'm going to use.
Yeah, I think we all knew
and
that.
I go
day.
back and you can play it back to the actor, and even they don't want to touch it.
Yeah.
What's one of the fear people have of HD that people, oh, everyone can see what you're doing, they're going to want to do it again and again. It's like, no. Once they see it, they know it's magic. They ain't going to want to touch it. This look here is so intense.
I love that.
This is that great shot you have in your book. I wanted to replicate that. You see the color actually, it actually bleaches out more to replicate more of the book, and then it goes back to normal right about there. I just wanted to get so much, as close as I could to your book right there. I just love that shot. That says more about this lethality right there.
Yeah, and the performance is loaded because all you have to do is look at him and see that you know that he's killed people before.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it because he knows exactly what he's doing. He's timing it out to perfection, and it makes him. I think that's the moment where he becomes truly formidable.
And that's the thing about your book, is that when you're reading the book, you get to that shot and you realize what he's done and what he can do from that one drawing. And you can have him running around in red tennis shoes from then on, because you've already set him up as a badass. Now he can go and just be the guy who keeps screwing up. He's the guy, everything just keeps screwing up. This is a great shot.
Come on, he's got a great shot. He got a great pair of chucks there.
I don't think he'll be bothering you.
This was Brittany loved being in the window.
We love Brittany in the window too.
She just loved it. The way you drew her, she goes, "I got to get in that pose."
Well, she sure did.
And I added this shot. This is another shot I added.
It's a beautiful
I
shot.
thought you liked it.
There's a lot of reasons I like that shot.
She looked at the shot and went, "Thank you for that shot, by the way." This is a great shot. She's really Shelley right here.
By this point,
Now Shelley's in all the books. Is she in all the books?
Almost all, yeah. And because she's at the bar and so on, and I consider her to be one of the linchpins of the entire series. And when we were talking about the sequel, where that Brittany was on, I was probably doing handstands because this way we can start pinning together all these stories with this character. Her and Nancy, we need both of them.
Now I went red on the car because again, this was the only car that matched the one you had drawn, and it would happen to be red, which we loved. But then, of course, you get to black and white, and it looks like the dullest gray.
And also, it's a spectacular car. It's one of the greatest designed cars there ever was.
And the back looked like a front, so I started this shot.
Brilliant.
I remember I was lining this shot up. So let's start on the front, pull all the way around, and come all. I just went, got to get some long, loving close-up of this car. You came in, you go, "What are you doing?" And you looked at it, and you go, "Oh, never mind. I like it."
I didn't like it. I loved it. It's because what this does more than any other shot I can think of in the whole movie, is it reinforces the car fetish that's part of Sin City.
Yeah.
But you've got to have there because this stuff's about cars too, and
that's one of the main things you wanted to draw when you first put Sin City together. This whole idea came from the idea of, what were the three elements?
There were three. It was like all the guys. Actually, it's four. All the guys are tough. All the trench coats are long. All the cars are vintage, and all the women are gorgeous.
I think we got that in this movie.
I think so.
And it actually just ended up being a blue car and a red car. But those were the actual colors.
But it's great.
And then our Old Town girls.
Speaking of girls,
we had a little bit of color.
I wanted to jump in on something else though.
Sure.
That the first scene that we shot with Benicio is him in that car. And what blew me away was that without any real conversations with me about this, the state he's in, he knew that this guy wasn't just drunk, but that he was in a blackout, which is a very different state.
Right.
That if Jackie Boy had survived this night, he wouldn't have remembered it.
Right. That's what was the first day.
All this shot Look at her. Love can you get? She's wonderful.
This was great to shoot. And she was amazing because she has to walk. She's actually walking in place. She's not even on a treadmill. She had to walk backwards into the shot. She had to do all this physical stuff that was just ridiculous because we're on green screen. But she's doing it and acting and casual and doing everything she needs to do. I mean, technically, she's just unbelievable. And then Benicio Frankenstein's monster coming up here. There's a lightning flash that goes off. It just makes him look like an old Universal horror film.
Toward the end of this shooting Big Fat Kill, I became addicted to lightning flashes and was calling for them about every second of the movie.
Well, basically, we just had him cue it. Every time someone wasn't talking, between lines, shoot a lightning blast off.
What I also loved was calling from one side then the other.
Oh, well, there we are. Now, this is like some of the most photographical skin there is. I mean, look at her face and the way the light hits her. I mean, I just would be monitoring, switching it to black and white, going, "Oh my God!" And she was so game to do the outfit, to do that, chop her hair off, to do all of that.
Lovely Rosario. She was when she first showed up in town. Her remark to me was, "Oh, I get it. I'm an S&M superhero." And I said, "Sure, you are." And then one point during the shoot, I told her that she would be the perfect Catwoman.
Right.
And then I had to pause and say, "No, you already are."
Awesome.
And also, she was the other New Yorker on the set. So
that's
that was
right.
a lot
That was
of
one
fun.
of the things you had mentioned was we're going to find some New York girls because there's a different toughness to it, and that's what we're having trouble finding in Gail. In fact, you loved Gail as much as Miho, I think.
I think so
And
too.
I knew it was going to be a hard one to cast, and we went through so many people, and they were all terrific. But I really thought it was going to be Rosario, so I did cheat. I did cheat a little, Frank. What I did was I told her ahead of time, when you come to the rehearsal, to the audition, paint your eyes in sort of a cat eye. And she didn't know how to do it. She had a friend of hers did it.
Bastard, you never told me that.
If you look at that, because I thought maybe you weren't seeing
everybody. Here's.
Well, I thought you weren't really seeing the physical transformation yet, which was not going to come till later. So I thought anything that would help you see her more.
Here's Robert Rodriguez, the pillar of his community, the father of five. Everybody's favorite, nicest guy in the world. And a ruthless motherfucker.
Ruthless. But I think one of the things that was blocking you from seeing some of the girls that came in that were really good was that you weren't seeing them. They weren't looking like your comic. But of course, they have to go through this huge transformation to get there. We had to chop her hair off into a mohawk, basically. Just paint her all up like this, put her in that outfit.
Oh, but she owned that.
She owned it. But I had to show you the tape later. You didn't notice it when she first came in. Later on, I said, let's watch the tapes again and watch Rosario. And I showed it to you in the room. And you're like, I don't remember seeing that. Oh my God, she is great.
Yeah.
And she looked like her. And,
see, here's a sequence where I'm really seeing the drawings in action. Because we got him, we got Becky, we got Gail.
Right here. I think it's right here.
Oh,
look at this. He always wanted to play the Wolfman. I said, look, man, you just did it.
Yeah.
It's the Wolfman.
And
the
thing is
here's a shot right out of your book, the famous shot that we use a lot of. Get in the car. This was the scene Quentin directed because it was the samurai swords. It was very, very violent. It's like no, this is Frank Miller goodness.
I remember. Look at her.
You never know she was never trained before this.
No, she's
Frank Miller training.
The way she moves, partly gets her.
Benicio added that.
Yeah, he sure did. I love that.
What if I go and I chew my knuckles off the gun? I said, that's awesome.
At this point, I was just going, Robert, it's Benicio. I got Miho to take care of right now.
Take care of Miho, I'll take care of Benicio. He came up with a bunch of terrific things. He said, how about I put my hand in my pocket later?
Yeah.
Oh, I put my hand in my pocket.
Look at that. This was fairly early on in the shoot, and it was when...
This is Dwight's first day. This is actually his first day of shooting. It's him running out there and doing that.
Okay, but also I'm talking about the Miho sequence, where she's ducking around and all of that.
Right.
And it was where sorry, I just saw that, that climb up Rosario.
Oh, I have to explain why we do a climb up. When you draw your drawings, a lot of them are very vertical, which doesn't work in a movie. Everything's horizontal, and if you do widescreen, even more so. So I thought, how do I be faithful to the book? I don't want to go to a wide shot, because then suddenly the image is small. Yeah. Oh, I know. I'll just take all your vertical shots as a camera move. So I'll either do a boom up or a pan up or a tilt up, and that's how you get that length.
Yeah.
So that's where that shot came from, because one of your drawings is almost like a full body of her. And so I just took that as a direction to do a tilt up.
Well, this whole sequence with Miho was where in a way, I came to understand the character better as I was working with Devin because I could immediately have a sense when something didn't feel right, and I kept on telling her to not to act, to withhold completely.
Just the blood on the face shot. You came to me at one point and said, "You got to get a shot where blood hits someone's face, where Miho's face, and she doesn't blink." I said, "Never pull that off in a samurai movie." I said, "Oh, watch this."
Yeah, it was like 5 minutes later we had it.
It's like, oh, it's very easy. It's very easy. All we have to do is shoot her with her eyes closed.
Actually, what I remember also saying, what I remember saying to you was, a couple of weeks ago I would have said, "Can we do this?" Now I know to ask, how are we going to do it?
Right. That's basically when you realize with the green screen and effects and technology today that you can make any shot happen. It really comes down to just how are you going to do it, and coming up with the original idea. If you have a great idea, you can figure out a way to do it. And that was the work, basically, for me every day was figuring out how we were going to do each shot to match as close as we could to the magic you had drawn on the page, because that stuff is just so beautiful, and I just didn't. This is the anti-movie. We'll have to talk about the concept of the anti-movie.
I also I've got to blather about Miho a little bit.
Go ahead,
which is the thing I really learned on the set there was something I had done intuitively, but I really didn't have it in front of my brain, which is that it was when I was working very intensely with her and her movements and that stony killer expression she does so well. I realized that what she was is, in Japanese terms, Miho is a kami, a demon, and Japanese demons can be good or bad, and so she's in a different movie.
Right. Everyone can have their eyes open in this kind of rain.
Yeah, right.
Because what I loved about your book is the rain's always pouring down on people, but their eyes are wide open, and that never happens in a movie. If you put rain on people, it immediately starts running down their heads, in their eyes. Everyone's squinting.
Yeah.
And I thought, no, everyone's got to have their eyes open, so let's not have rain. We'll just keep spritzing it down.
Look at that amazing profile of Rosario. How can you
plus her hair would have fallen down as soon as we put water on it. So we just kept spritzing.
Oh, you mean like when I was tormenting Mackenzie with the extra spritz? Yeah.
Yeah. So we just kept their faces and bodies spritzed, and we added all the rain and the rain bouncing off them later, so that we could have like what your comic accomplished, which was having them all stare wide open at each other and visual of the rain pouring down.
This is a fascinating scene right here for me because it was a case where I'd seen enough performance to know that it needed a touch-up on the script, and I added.
You had this bit about.
She personalizes it, and it makes it very plain that she resents the fact that they're not lovers anymore.
Right.
And I felt it really helped focus this episode.
Well, we found some of this stuff in the Dame to Kill For books that we thought we need to bring some of this back in there. That's actually where I think the idea came from, because there was lines in there back. Well, this is the book we'll do next. It's in season 2, so we won't talk too much about it. But we did take some of this Dwight dialogue, and some of her dialogue was taken from Dame to Kill For.
So, Robert, do you ever wonder sometimes why certain lines are funny? I mean, getting a car and having a big trunk, and there's something about that delivery that has me laughing every single time I see it. And I don't know what it is.
Yeah, well, I mean, I looked at my original thing I did with when I just using my own voice, and of course, he reads it that way. It's the reading, and it's also the shot. I wanted him kissing, and then suddenly he turns into that great close-up that you have in the book itself, which is that one. I wanted to get to that shot, and it's this great shot of him in the foreground and her back there just looking at him.
Well, she's melting.
And just melting, and I thought, this is going to be such a great. So he knew this was his big. He's basically whenever an actor turns into their own close-up, it's a very powerful thing, and he embraced that and just gave the line a lot of bite. And that's Clive too. Clive's just got an amazing sense of humor and kept us all.
When he and Benicio were both on the set, it was impossible to stop laughing. I mean,
unless there's something else you want me to
so here's another case where she.
Oh, this is funny with a hat. You said,
maybe I'm gonna hurry.
I want to put this hat on Rosario at some point. Can we put it? And I said, no, Frank, I think it'd be weird, because why would she put on a hat now, and then she's not going to have it later, and then it's just going to mess up her hair and all that. And you walked away, and you look like a little kid who'd just been turned down, and I felt so bad for saying no to you. And then you came back and you showed me the book, and you go, hey, wait a minute, I drew it in there. Because I always said that, hey, if you drew it, we have to shoot it. And I never noticed that shot. You had a shot of her putting a hat on for one frame that makes no sense continuity-wise.
Well,
she never wears it again. But I thought, oh, well, shit, you drew it, so we have to shoot it. Okay, bring the hat on.
But she sure looks good.
And she did look good.
Actually, the line that you would always use on me when I wanted to change something was, "Too late, you already inked it."
Yeah, you would say like, "Are you sure we need to get that?" Hey, too late. You already inked it. We got to shoot it. One of the things I was being so faithful to the book to a degree that I was making you be more faithful to the book.
Oh, right, yeah,
Because I knew you were in the mindset when you drew it, and to just start changing everything didn't make a whole lot of sense. I wanted to stick with it unless something really didn't work, or if we really had a much better idea. And I remember you got that sense the very first day when they're doing the Marley, Shelton, John Charnett scene when they're kissing in silhouette. You came into me and you said, "Hey, I think if we do this in a silhouette, it might be really kind of cool." And I went, "I don't know, man. If you look at, I think in your book it's better. You used a white silhouette. Nobody ever does that." You looked at it and you went, "Yeah, you're right. That is better. I like your discipline." And so from then on, if it was drawn, I tell the crew, "You drew it, we're shooting it. And then if it doesn't work, we'll think of something else. But let's not just start changing everything just to change it. Let's really
I think that was the salvation of this project, Robert, because there's such a there's such a tendency when because you're working long hours, you're dealing with hundreds of egos. In this case, like two colossal egos, who are talking to each other right now, and there's just a tendency for there to be an entropy that sets in. And I mean, I've worked on pictures where the material itself wasn't strong enough. I mean, I'm referring to my own scripting, like the RoboCop 2, where we never really got the script we needed, and an entropy set in, and actors, it was like a feeding frenzy, and the whole thing just kind of like flew in 1,000 different directions, and really was unsalvageable. So, the reason I used the word discipline then was I realized that one of the many things you taught me about directing. It's a matter of staying your course and not varying from it and saying, okay, maybe I'm wrong, but this is where I'm going.
Exactly. I mean, there's a lot of ways to do it, but this is the way we're going to do it. It's this way. And you just kind of make that decision, and everyone follows along. I mean, people like clear direction.
Yes.
You've got something like that. Otherwise, then they're going to look out for themselves.
Well,
they're going to try to protect themselves.
These two gents knew what movie they were in. I mean, they knew what
Well, maybe
material
not
they
this
were.
day, because there was a third director who showed up on
Oh,
this
that lunatic.
day. Which, on my commentary, you'll hear Quentin talk about this thing. But this was a day where I said, "Frank, we've been directing all this time. We're going to take a back seat to directing. I'm going to be there as the DP, editor, effects guy. You'll be there as the writer, producer. You sit behind the big monitors, and I'll stand in one of the cameras, and we'll let Quentin just have his day and have fun directing the actors." And it was so great. I looked at my diary again. At the end of this day, you came to me and said, "This was the most fun day I've ever had in my life." And I said, "Frank, I'm going to write that down, Frank, because I'm going to have to mention that later, because it was a creatively.
It was gigantic. And also it was. I keep on referring to my education because this was my first picture in this role, and Quentin taught me a lot about directing, not just because of his expertise, because the two of you think very differently, and it's fascinating to watch you. I like to refer to you as the Apollo and Dionysus. And anyway, when he showed up, also I learned the parameters of the job of being a director, because you can confuse people, Robert.
Oh, totally.
You do so damn many different things that I was feeling like I'm not pulling my weight here.
Right.
And you were always saying, "You're doing fine. You're doing fine. You're doing."
I say, "Man, you do more than most directors." Don't worry about that. I'm always doing 100 jobs. Don't worry about that.
But when I saw Quentin at work, I went, "Oh, I get it. Directing is all the stuff I like to do."
Yeah.
I was sold.
I'm the designated.
One more time.
No, it was a great, just to learn from somebody else's point of view. Again, like I knew I would learn from you. You learn a lot from Quentin, and
I mean, it's kind of just wonderful take here. Remember how I was always trying to get you to do like bigger close-ups of guns?
Yeah, you said you gotta get even closer than that. The guy said, "Well, I think at a certain point, we won't be able to tell it's a gun anymore." We're about as close as we can get. That thing on there with the color on the eyes, I just added later. I just thought, let's try this. What do you think of this, Frank? Cool. That was one of the funniest comments you would make. Well, sometimes I'd bring you over because the actor would come ask me a question sometimes, and I'd go, "You know what? I don't know the answer to that. Let's ask Frank. He knows." Frank, and I'm curious to find out myself. Frank, why did you put dinosaurs in the, dinosaurs in the here? And you're like, "Oh, because it was cool. Because it was cool to draw." And I'm like, "Hey, I don't need any more explanation than that. That's half why I do anything." It's cool you do it.
It is cool.
It is
Look
totally
at
cool.
it.
But that was usually sometimes we thought there'd be some real in-depth explanation as to why you had this person wear this outfit or do this, and you'd be like, oh, because it was cool. Because it made no logical sense, but you thought it'd be cool. And I thought, explain no more, man. I'm right there with you. I get that.
That was what was so funny when it was the three of us too, because it was like it really was the three amigos. We were the problem we had on the set was that the three of us. For one thing, is that being Quentin and Robert have been very close friends and colleagues for years. So I was like the late comer, but it was like I was immediately welcomed.
You were in there right away. It was like the three amigos so quickly.
It was like what I like to tell people is that all of us take our jobs very, very seriously. We only look like a bunch of little boys in a tree fort.
That's right. When I first met you, we met at that bar the first time to show you the shots I had done as an earlier test. I tracked you down. I just realized I didn't meet you until November of 2003. Because I thought if I could just show you, you would be into it. But I had to track you down, and you were running and hiding. You just didn't want anyone from Hollywood calling. I said, but I'm from Texas. Finally met with me. I showed you the footage. You were blown away, and I said, hey man, that's right out of your books. I just shot your panels, and that freaked you out even more that you didn't even recognize your own drawing. And then, and not well. And then as we started talking more, we just got on so well.
Yeah, it was instant.
It was like this.
Then you took me over to meet Quentin.
Well, that's the thing you asked me while we were at the bar. You said, because I mentioned something about Quentin, that I just got back from the Kill Bill premiere, and I was writing music for him, and you looked at me and you went, now what kind of feeling is the kind of person who maybe laughs at his own dark material? And I just started busting up going, you're not going to much for three peas in a pod when you meet this guy. You and him are so much alike.
The funny thing is, it's like
you think your stuff is really funny. You think this is great comedy.
Well, okay,
and in fact, we kept calling this Big Fat Kill episode, this is the screwball comedy. They're running around chasing the head. It really is like a screwball comedy.
Look at him. Look at him. What's not funny about that? You know?
Well, that's the thing is that Quentin's the same way. He sits there, watches the most brutal thing in his own movie, and he's laughing. I told you that's the thing. At his own premiere, he's laughing louder than anybody. At a movie that he's just spent the past year and a half making.
Well,
he's there laughing.
I was seeing Clive Owen shows his chops.
Right.
Is that because almost all those movements that I would call are his.
Yeah.
Because there's so many different mediums that they have to be.
Yeah.
And
he's just so good with his face. And when he does something like this, which is a great shot.
It's like he's staring at a hand grenade, going like, "Oh no." Talk about the other expression.
I'll put that on the making of on the 20-minute film score.
Clive tortured me with
that face, and I'll explain it later because I have to show you. He would say, "How faithful are we going to be to the books, Frank?" And he would show you the book drawing where you have this very comical look on his face. He goes, "Do you really want me to do this face?" And he would make fun.
It looked like something out of like Gary Larson, you know. And this is, and he kept doing that face.
He would bring it over to me going, "I'm really going to be this faithful to the book." I said, well, I think you don't have to do that face in particular.
But he wouldn't stop.
He wouldn't stop.
And then finally,
I shot a version of that shot.
I know, you showed it to me to torture me.
And the first edit you saw of the movie, I showed it to you.
And at first I thought, I'm going to have words with Robert about this.
I think, I like his editing up until now.
Yeah, everything was so slick, and then all of a sudden it was the goofball shot.
This was so easy to shoot, it was scary, because I just loved how you conceived of this idea. How do you show someone sinking in tar from under the tar? Unless you do black and white like this, and then put them in white.
Also, this is the shot. This is the shot, though, that kills me. With the way you got that, where this.
It's right out of the book.
But what I mean is, the book couldn't do that moment of gripping, which is a moment of salvation. And
but it's like you said, it's between the blanks there. I mean,
no, but there's something about that. It's part of what adds to her mysticism.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just love the bridge of this. I mean, the bridge between. You're getting the best of both. You're getting the image that's so simple.
And there's your stunning sister.
Oh, this is my sister. She was in one of the early tests. And you said, "Who's that beautiful girl in red?" And I go, "Oh, that's just my sister." And you said, "Oh, you got to put her in as one of the Old Town girls." I go, "Really?" I mean, okay.
Well, I had to lobby you a bit because
I'm just so used to
you it's just a sister. And meanwhile, I was like looking at her going,
I want to be trying to squeeze my sister in there. I got 5 sisters.
The other director was the one insisting to put her in.
Insisting to put her in, and we were like trying to find girls that were really in shape, that were tall and statuesque.
She was
very good.
And she can act.
She's been acting in my movies since the But no, I was glad she got to be. Now I love this whole sequence here. starting with, again, this was again a vertical shot, so I just took that as a pan. I added this little
you
bit
improved
here,
it.
and just bridging the scenes together.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite
one of the best
transitions in the
lines.
whole movie.
Yeah, and that's one that's just a made up thing, just bridging them. And but I love this dialogue here is great, and just characters in a car like this is so fun for them to play because they don't have to talk. They can just sit there and hear the voiceover.
Oh God, do you remember when we were shooting it? Patricia had so much dialogue, and like you reduced
Dallas, yeah, she plays Dallas. She plays two characters.
Dude, I love this shot.
That's great.
Yeah. Looking at him. This got started on the set. There's one case where, by the way, painful deaths I've ever seen.
I know, having to kill my own sister there.
Yeah.
But this was like, this head getting cut was in the book, but it's in the panel, it's kind of in the background in the panel. And it just took on a life of
So I
its own
guess I am
after
like Clint. I think it's hilarious.
It is a very funny shot. And this is her
yeah,
ride to Grenada.
this is where she came back and said, and I'm doing it myself. And what she brought was she brought the cartoon to it.
Anytime you can have an actor do it, it's just gonna.
You know what she did?
She's gonna put more
At
character.
that point, she was so into character that she knew that she might as well be a cartoon.
Because it's not a stunt, it's a character thing. So.
Yeah, and then so she kicks her feet up as she goes back, and then she rode those cables like a trooper because at that point, she must have been utterly exhausted. Last day for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about that? Well, we'll get to her finest hour soon. There's a cable shot of her that is I worked it, and then she just delivered a masterpiece.
I would make fun of you on the set because you love that character so much that when I'd see you there, like the Taskmaster, while she's there acting, you're there with your arms crossed, like I called you like the ultimate soccer dad, and you're like they're so proud of her, your little Miho, you trained her, and I was like, Frank's so enthusiastic right now for the sequence. He trained her, and now he's so proud she pulled it off, and you went and showed her the takes, and you gave her a samurai sword at the end, right?
Yeah,
And she was so excited.
Miho carries two swords, and I presented her with one of them. Of course, I stole the other one.
She said, "Mom, I got a sword."
Wasn't that hilarious?
I love the look she gives between Dwight here.
Yeah.
This is just a little added thing. I just stayed close to her.
Even a strange thing, I mean, I don't know how it is for you.
She said, "Look at him." Oh, this shot was not in the book.
This is amazing.
In your book, you have a wide shot of them kind of running off, and I went, I think we need something more for this dialogue.
And you came up with
And I
this.
thought about it in about,
Actually,
about 10 seconds.
what you said was, it's got to be fast and it's got to be brilliant. And then
So Frank, we got to think of a new shot. It's got to be. We have to come up with a shot.
This was your shot.
Well, I had you think about it too because I said we got to come up with a shot. It's got to be fast. It's got to be brilliant.
But what I had to focus on though was that all Miho does in that shot is stand there looking at him.
Right.
And I went to her and at this point it was becoming almost a joke on set because I went over and went, Miho. She like shoots that lethal glare, and it's almost like she's like she's a samurai and I'm the daimyo or something, and I said shoulders back. I said chin up, and arms away from your sides. You're not a woman. You're a weapon. Anyway, then I said your eyes never leave Dwight because Gail has been kidnapped and he is your master now. And that's all it took. Because as soon as she got a little bit of guidance, just do anything. And she was beginning to deliver with goods every time.
You were. I said that from the very beginning. Gail and Miho are my favorite characters. And then this bit here, I wanted to keep. In one of your drawings, I saw blood on her mouth. So I said, "Can we pull some neck out of her like a zombie movie?"
That was scary,
was
man.
so excited to do this.
And also look at the both of them. Alexis is completely into it.
Oh, and these guys, that's Nicky Cat there with a shaved head. Nicky is unbelievable. I know Nicky for a long time, but he came in and did this small part, just the love Frank Miller, love Sin City.
Also, can I tell you,
shaved his head for us.
In-joke bit. The earring that you right now see on Becky is simple from the comic books.
You're crazy.
Yeah, there's my Gail. Yeah.
She's spitting it.
Also, that's a Rodriguez moment.
That's right out of your book. You have a shot where he's swatting her, she's airborne. I go, how are we going to get her fly like that? And we pulled her on a wire. We shot them separately and yanked her. I know, sometimes I came up with some of these shots and I look at your book. No, we followed them.
Well, I'll tell you, Robert, there's a reason we collaborate.
No, man, I can't. Sometimes you can't tell what shots I kind of came up with and which ones were from your book because I shoot in that sort of style. But your shots in particular.
Here's Nikki.
Nikki's just taking that and running with it. It's really funny. And Clark Middleton is fantastic.
I don't think we gave him much of any direction at all with Nikki. He was so funny.
I didn't know what for him to do. I said, you gotta, I don't know. But this character was so very funny in the book, and he just came in and read. I had an idea in mind, but when he walked in and did it his way, it was so much better than anything I had.
When he went,
hey, but even before that, when he goes, I knew there was a reason.
that was
As soon as he walked in with that,
that's the shot. That's the shot. Okay.
That's when she's jumping.
When she's jumping and flying, we had to do a bunch of takes. We had been running her ragged, or I had been running her ragged, but she was fearless and tireless. And finally, I spoke to the sword master, and I said something's wrong with this flying shot where she's firing her bow. And this is her money moment. This is the biggest moment Mino has in this movie. And I said, what's wrong with it? And he said, her knees would be further apart. I'd taken over 4 or something. I went over and I said, Mino, can further apart? And she just nodded. At this point, she wasn't even talking much because she was so in character. She didn't talk that much.
Now this beat here,
Don't do this. Wait a minute, something's not right.
Demetra's still alive, why is Jackie Boy still alive? You'd said that you'd had an idea in the script, and then in the book where he blinked at him or something, or he winked at him, or it says that in the book. Is that what it says, that he winks at him? Or
Well, the idea is Dwight is having a
but
feeling.
was
He's
that
right
in the
on
book?
the edge.
Was that in the book, or was it something you
No,
said?
that came up performance. That was
I thought
more.
it was something you mentioned before that you had this idea where. That's where I got the idea.
Yeah. There was that. The idea was that I was going
You always
to have.
wanted him to wink at him or something.
Yeah, just one beat like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And I said, oh, let's do that. Let's
You don't
keep
give
Jackie Boy alive.
Rodriguez that. He runs with it, and all of a sudden you got like.
Before you know what he's talking. Well, I just thought Jackie Boy sort of. Yeah.
Alright. I'm gonna do the save and the continued. Final part coming soon.